Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. This is our Because You Ask series here at Bethel Colony. This is a series that answers some of those questions that you might have about coming into our program. Also, make sure that you guys are sharing this video. Make sure that you are commenting below and asking those questions in the comments below in this video. As always, if you're looking to try to sow into this ministry, you can go to bethelcolony.org. Or you can go on our Facebook page, and there's a donate button there. Let's go inside now. Let's sit down with our executive director and Pastor Paul Pruitt, and let's start asking and tackling some of these questions.
Hey everyone, thank you again for joining us today. This is our Because You Ask series where we're tackling questions of family members to actual projected students that's looking to come into our program. We're excited that you guys have decided to listen to this and watch this. Just a lot of information that you guys can dive into here to be able to make the application for your time coming in or your family that is coming. So thank you again for joining us. The last time we met, we were talking about the question, my family's upset with me. What's the best way for them to support my spiritual journey to God's recovery in my life? And I had mentioned there's another part to that question. Right. And the other part of that question is basically, what should I avoid while in the program? So this is looking at it as a student, when he's here, what are the things that I need to avoid while being there?
Sure. And keeping that question narrowed to the aspect of family and relationships.
Yes, sir.
There. So one thing I would say is as you are trying to build that bridge and you're trying to get, as we discussed last time, not looking in the rearview mirror there, as you're going through counseling, as you're discussing things, as you're in the Word, as you're in classes, the Lord's revealing different things that you've done, that you need to work through. So one of the things I would tell you is don't try to cover them up. We want to bury them. We want to just throw it in a trash can and be done with it there. But Scripture teaches us in the book of Proverbs, that which we try to cover, God will uncover. Allow Jesus to cover it.
Amen.
And how does He cover it? He covers it through the blood of forgiveness.
Amen.
There, and for Him to be able to cover it, we hit a verse last week there at 1 John 1:9 says, if we confess. That word "if" is conditional, and if we are being honest, if we are being open, if we're being agreement with God on this issue, then it says He will forgive us and cleanse us from all unrighteousness. And as we uncover it to Him, seeking for His forgiveness, then He removes the darkness of it. He removes the guilt and shame. He removes the baggage that comes with it. Many want to wait. I want to wait. Well, I'll talk to them when I get home. Can I tell you the best time to deal with it? That's why God's convicting you to do it.
That's right.
That's the best time to do it there.
That's right.
Follow His leading on this. We want to, I know there's many reasons we want to wait. We want to protect them. We've hurt them already plenty enough there. But on the other side isn't just you, it's them. And we've hurt them, and they know the realities of what we've done. And part of this communication that we talked about last time, and this healing that we talked about last time, is got to communicate this. And part of that communication here is, Mom, Dad, wife, being honest, I did do these things. Scripture tells me that I'm to go to my brother. I'm go to ask them forgiveness when I've offended them. So I've got to follow up with this and asking them to forgive me. If I don't, I'm continuing to leave them in that feeling of betrayal, deception, and they get questions in this progress that going to feel like that you're really being limited in your honesty when you are communicating your progress there, because they know part of change, part of progress is admitting our faults, is confessing our sins. So if you wait 2 months, 3 months after you graduate Bethel Colony and you can go home and talk about it, okay, all that you wanted out of the rearview mirror, you just brought it all back up.
That's right.
You've also left a platform for it to be discussed, and it needs to be discussed still. So let's do it while you're going through it, while God's leading you. Let's do it today. If not, you may have asked the Lord to forgive you 2 months ago, But now you're discussing it with them, it feels like it's all being uprooted and all happened today.
Right.
So we need to deal with it now.
Right. Right. Whenever I first went through the program, I had I was focusing on the end result. I was focusing on what my next step was going to be, but I rushed God. I was kind of trying to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. And when I came back the second time, that was a big thing that I focused on, was slowing down and letting God just work in my life. And, really just taking my time with the Lord, because I wanted everything to kind of just fall into place. You'll hear it a lot of times around here. Guys will be like, well, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And a lot of times that's to their demise, because they will rush through this program to get out of it and not allow God to really do what God needs to do in their life.
Sometimes it's the journey.
Yes, sir.
And in the journey, we meet God. In the journey, we come to those revelations.
Yes,
there.
sir.
And we as men don't always like the journey.
We don't. We don't.
In that journey, I'm sure maybe your folks saw some things. In that journey, there's different things that my counselors and others saw. And one thing I would say to you as well is we need to learn to have ears to hear. That people who actually care, our parents, our loved ones, our wives, they have concerns and they see red flags. They've watched our patterns of how we've dealt with life in the past, whether we rushed things or missed what God wanted to do in a journey. And so they see red flags sometimes before we do, because we're used to running past them.
That's right.
So make sure that you're listening to those voices in your life. Make sure you're listening to that loved one in your life there.
Can I interject right there? And honestly, they know. We think we've snowballed them, but they know. Within my life, I always thought I'm pulling one over them. They'll never know, but they knew.
Yeah, they do, and they will help keep us from that next bad decision in our life.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember, they love you. They want the best for you, and they have the best interest in mind for you. So make ourselves accountable to our family members. Make ourselves accountable. Who else? Who's the best person to do it? Jesus and the ones who loved us.
That's right.
And we've got to accept that when they speak in their life, there's obviously change. Maybe they're not completely right on it, but we got to ask ourselves reality, what are they seeing?
Right.
Is it worth looking at? In it, avoid the arguments there. Stop debating with them there. If we get real with us, they've been right lots longer than we were. We were wrong in what we were doing, and now we're going to debate everything with them. Avoid the arguments. Avoid trying to fix everything over the phone.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Oh gosh, we want our families to communicate with one another, but sometimes that phone, I wish we could just disconnect for a little while. Because it's time to work some of this out in prayer and processing. God knew these things were going to go on and come up, and we've got to trust Him to take us through it.
Amen. And I would encourage you to go on our website, bethelcolony.org. You can actually go to a tab there. It's called Take Action. And in that tab, you will find help there for you guys as you guys are looking and trying to figure out the best options to be able to do there at the house. And for the actual students, I do believe there's information on that tab, am I right, for the students as well, of knowing what the next step is in their journey here coming into Bethel Colony, I think. So.
And might be helpful to some wives in there. My wife, years ago, when I was going through some of my struggles and we weren't married yet, she had wrote out a prayer. One of those prayers that kind of fills in the blanks of names. And a lot of wives, a lot of family members have found that prayer that my wife has written really helpful to them as they pray for their loved ones here. And you can find that in that tab as well.
Amen. As always, thank you, Pastor Pruitt, for sitting down with us and being able to share just your wisdom with how to go through this process. It is a process that everybody's going through, not just the student, but the families as well. So thank you. And thank you for taking the time to watch this. Hope this has helped. Hope this has enlightened you in some way to be able to understand what your loved one's going through in both aspects, family to student. As always, thank you for stopping in and checking out our Because You Ask series. Always go on our Facebook page. We have tons of information on there about what's happening here on the Hill, different things of how to get your family in here. We've got tons of Because You Ask series that we've been doing, so you guys make sure that you're sharing those. Go on our YouTube channel, subscribe there, click that subscribe button. And also comment in the link that is posted here with any other questions that you guys might have. But always, thank you for stopping in, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon.